Allegations of inappropriate sexual behaviour by 36 unnamed MPs have emerged in a leaked dossier reportedly compiled by Tory aides. I mean, that's a terrible scale of the problem.
First, let me say that there are women being sexually harassed in workplaces up and down the country. And it's not just a story when it's film stars and MPs. And those women deserve our care and consideration also. But
MPs tell us what to do, don't they?
I'm not saying that it's not very serious. I'm just saying that some women who are nervous of going into work this morning will think, well, why do people only talk about it when it's, you know, film stars? But my point is this. There has long been a toxic atmosphere in Westminster around sexual microaggression and sexual harassment. When I was a new MP, before Parliament was televised, women would get up to speak and male MPs on the side of the chamber would make these gestures like they were weighing their breaths. But the other thing to say as well, though, these are, I think, 36 Tory MPs, but it's not just a Tory issue. It's an issue for MPs as a whole.
Yeah, and of course, you know, within your own party, Labour MP Jared Amara suspended currently over allegations of misogynistic abuse as well. What should be happening right now? What should the Prime Minister be doing? And does she have an added responsibility because she's a woman?
No, I wouldn't say she's got an added responsibility. I'd say two things need to happen. We need to change the culture. Things were bad in Parliament when I became an MP. Things were bad in broadcast media, which is... because I worked in broadcast media before becoming a Member of Parliament. Gradually, the culture has changed. Partly, I think, because you have more women in senior positions.
Well, there we go. I mean, that's when I say the added responsibility, there is, in the most senior position, a woman.
Maybe she has an added consciousness, but we're all responsible. Men in all parties are responsible.
Yeah, absolutely right.
What's wrong with these men? What gives them this... No, really, it's a serious question. What gives them this sense of entitlement that they can abuse women, either verbally, make grotesque passes at them, as we saw in the papers yesterday, get them to go into a sex shop to buy sex toys, demeaning them in almost every way you possibly can? What gives them that sense of entitlement to do it?
There's a number of things. Parliament's always been a very, very male atmosphere. When I came in, 650 MPs, 20-odd women. A lot of these men had been to all-boys boarding schools and had really unreconstructed ideas about women.
Right.
Drink is taken. There are 8 bars in the House of Commons, and we work long hours. In the 80s, we were there sometimes till midnight, and the bars are open as long as we are there.
And the wife and girlfriend is a long way away sometimes.
They are a long way away from home. And finally, there was this sense, certainly when I became an MP, that what goes on in Parliament stays in Parliament. That's what feeds the sense of entitlement.
I'm sure you've read Alan Clark, the late MP's diaries, which were amusing, but which made it very clear, and he had no shame about this, that Parliament is a very sexualised place. There seems to be a heightened sense of sexuality there. I'm not just talking about abuse. There seems to be a lot more going on. Would that be fair?
I don't think that Parliament is any more sexualised than broadcast media or newspaper offices.
Well, they're quite sexualised as well.
Well, I'm saying it's no more sexualised than that.
I think men and women might have a different view on that as well. I mean, I think that there will be a lot of women in Westminster hearing something like that and thinking, absolutely, that is not the situation.
No.
And perhaps there is a view, as you were saying, amongst men that... you know, late night drinking, wives away. There's a different culture. I mean, this has just got to come to an end. It's
got to come to an end.
It's a professional workplace.
We've got to move on. I think, as I say, the idea that there are more women MPs and more women generally in senior positions is a good thing. But I think it really is wrong that young people coming into politics for the first time feel vulnerable and feel they have to laugh along with so-called jokes, which aren't that funny. We have to move on. Two things need to happen. The culture needs to change, and maybe the type of publicity we're getting will make a lot of men stop and think. But we also need a much more robust procedure for taking complaints.
And I think this is really interesting, because who could a junior member of staff complain to if they felt that the way they were being treated was completely inappropriate and sexualised?
Well, strictly speaking, there are people they could complain to. The difficulty with the current system is that people feel it will endanger their career if they complain about
and
an
nobody
MP.
should ever feel
Exactly, exactly. So we want a system which gives people security and anonymity so they have a genuine way to complain. The Labour Party is trying to improve its procedures, but you need better procedures and a different climate.
Do you think we need a few by-elections? Because some of these allegations are quite serious. In fact, they're all serious per se, but some of them are more serious than others. Do you think that when it all comes out, names are named and details are given, these guys, and they're all guys, should resign?
Without knowing the facts, I don't want to prejudge anybody.
Well, let me give you an example, not naming a name, a hypothetical example. MP gets a young intern girl into his office after a late-night vote and gropes her. She fights him off and gets out. It's provable. Somebody saw it. Should he resign?
If that were true, that MP should consider his position. That's not the way people that represent people in Parliament should behave.
But it's how they are behaving.